Welcome back. Our next guest says it is not your parents' retirement anymore. For some, the days of lucrative pensions and parting gifts are gone. So what does retirement look like in today's world? Well, let's get the take with Jacksonville's retirement coach, Adam Wolf. It's so good to see you again,
Great
Adam.
to see you,
Thanks
Casey.
for being here.
You
So
are
let's talk
welcome.
about it. What do you think as far as what you see? How is retirement different for people of today versus our parents and grandparents? In your opinion?
Our parents and grandparents' generations is a little bit different for the most part. They didn't have a lot of the stresses that we have today, meaning, a lot of their retirement was a pension, was a fixed pension coming from the company or the government that they work for. We don't see that as much nowadays than we used to. Also, there's a lot more pressure. There's divorces, there's loss of income, there's early retirement, there's all these different things that are putting stress and pressure on our generation and the generations of our parents rather than our parents and our grandparents' generations.
And so you say a lot of the clients that come into your office today don't have that confidence that they need for retirement. Why is that? Obviously, you touched on that a second ago. And what can you do to help people get more confidence about retirement?
Having the confidence in retirement is key. Having the peace of mind knowing that, getting 8 hours of sleep, that's a big deal. That's a lot of confidence. Having a fixed source of income, that three-legged stool that we've seen so many times, being Social Security, traditional savings, and then employer-sponsored plans. A lot of those pensions through the employer-sponsored plans are gone. So the stool isn't as stable as it used to be. Now we need to have a second set of income coming in from the assets that you have, from the savings that you have, in addition to your Social Security or any other kind of pension that you have. That's going to shore things up and make things great.
And so how do we do that three-legged stool approach that you've talked about on the show before? How do you make sure that your income streams are coming and balancing out the stool?
Yes, take an inventory of everything you have, looking at what you have in savings, whether it's your 401k, your IRA, your savings on the side, and turning a portion of that into a set fixed amount of income coming into you to replace your paychecks that you are having. There's ways to do that. We typically do that through the source of an annuity. There's also ways to do that through the source of just your traditional investment programs that we have available. But sitting down with somebody, having a plan in place and putting the plan in place and the goals in place that you want to have happen and making great decisions with your money.
And you say a lot of your clients too look at retirement as being so complicated, and it is, right? There are so many different, like you say, income streams coming in, fee structures you have to take into account, where the allocation of your assets are. Is there any risk associated with that? Is it tied to the market? It's a lot for one person on top of everything else that they have going on to try to manage.
Yeah, I do this day in, day out. That's what I'm fixated on. So, I can imagine somebody who doesn't really have the time to dive into it and get the experience level to get to that point. It's very, very important to have someone that you trust, that you've hired, who's a financial fiduciary to put your interests legally ahead of their own. It's very, very important to have that person help you build a plan because it's complicated and there's all this different type of information floating around there. What's the right information? It really depends on what exact person who you're working with as an advisor is setting for you along with your goals to get to where you need to be.
Talk about if someone comes into your office. You have offered here on First Coast Living before for the viewers who watch, a chance for someone to come in and say, hey, here's a look at my retirement portfolio. Just give me your personal take on it. You say no obligation, just you will look and see kind of where they are structured from a 30,000-foot approach.
The key here is free of charge. People love free of charge and people love not having an obligation to do anything additional with us. Going through everything that you have, looking at the actual fees that you're paying. You'd be surprised, people are paying a lot in fees. Looking at the risk, we're 8.5 years into a bull market. We haven't had a large correction. Maybe a time to take some gains off the table, but having reasonable growth potential. Then looking at your overall plan and what you want to have accomplished and looking at the taxes. It's all incorporated in our readiness review and our stress test that we help folks with on a free basis and complimentary basis. Now, if you want to do work with us after that, that's great. We can help guide you as well. Maybe tweak a couple things, but you have the choice and there's no obligation for that.
So the option is there just to come in to get this, learn some free wealth of knowledge, and then do with that what you will, essentially.
Exactly.
All right, Adam, so good to see you.
Great
Thanks
to
for
see you,
being here.
Casey.
We appreciate you. And if you would like to schedule that complimentary appointment with Adam, the free stress test, his team can discuss the transition into a retirement, look at your portfolio, talk about how things are allocated, your risk, the whole 9 yards. His number is 904-232-8760. zero. And this offer, by the way, is complimentary to First Coast Living viewers who are in or nearing retirement. Adam Wolf has 2 locations for your convenience. One is in Jacksonville. The other one is in Clay County. You can also visit his website, which is wolfretirement.com, for more information.